Joe Arpaio, so far as of Thursday morning, has managed to garner 136,000 votes. What does that tell you about conservative base in Maricopa County?
Well, the interesting thing is that it was a three-way race between people who can be described as Arpaio, Arpaio Light, and not Arpaio. And Arpaio Light got slightly more votes. Arpaio is trailing by about 500 votes to his former chief deputy, who promised to bring back all of Arpaio's policies without the pizzazz that the former sheriff brought to the job. So his kind of brand of justice is still alive and well in Arizona, at least within the Maricopa County Republican Party. But no serious political observer expects either Arpaio or his former chief deputy, Jerry Sheridan, to win in November against the current sheriff, Paul Penzone.
All right, Steve, I'm going to put you up against Hank for that one because you are serious. I mean, you have 136,000 people who have voted for this person that much of the media have indicated is done.
Well, Lorraine, I'll frame it in a couple of ways. One is the kinder way, which is that we know how primary voters are. With Democrats, they tend to be more left, and Republicans tend to be more right. And there are a lot of people out there who voted for Sheriff Joe 5 or 6 times, many of them probably in the Sun City area in Maricopa County. Also, I don't know if you've seen these signs, Hank, or Lorraine, I don't think you would have seen those in Southern Arizona, re-elect Joe Arpaio. So there may have been some people who haven't paid attention in the last 3.5 years and thought, oh, maybe he is still sheriff. That's another thing. That's the not nice explanation for it.
84,000 people voted for Representative Schweikert, who you've indicated might be having some trouble given the investigation that the results came through last week.
David Schweikert, the timing of this was interesting, Lorraine. Some sources told me they think he wanted it in his rearview mirror when the campaign actually started in full for the general election. What I'm talking about is he admitted to 11 ethics violations, was reprimanded by the U.S. House, also agreed to pay a $50,000 fine, things related to campaign finance errors, having his staff work on campaign work, which these are not kosher things you're supposed to be doing, and a Democrat who has lost to Debbie Lesko, Congresswoman Debbie Lesko in the past. She decided to switch districts because she thought David Schweikert was a wounded animal, which the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee thinks as well. They've made that district one of their top targets. So Schweikert is in a very Republican district still, but it's a Republican district that's considered highly educated, affluent, and maybe possibly flipped here. It's still going to be a challenge for Dr. Harold Teperneni, but it could be closer than a lot of people would have thought.
All right, Hank, we've got 9 congressional districts here in Arizona. It kind of plays out like the Supreme Court, 5-4 right now with the numbers of Democrats and Republicans. What are we teeing up for here in November?
The only real race to watch outside of some sort of freak occurrence is going to be CD6. And I think that's Schweikert's district. And I think that is a long shot for Democrats. That's the one that they're focusing on because frankly, the rest of the districts that Republicans hold right now are just completely unwinnable. And if there's a year and a person who can make CD6 competitive, it's this year and Teperneni. Still, it's an outside chance.
All right, let's move on to the Senate. We have a phenomenal race ahead, no matter which side you're on. I mean, we have a retired colonel facing a retired captain. A lot of money in this race, and now the bid for 7 debates. Hank, how likely is that?
I put the over-under at 3 debates, and I'm taking the under on that. Kelly has benefited massively from just being able to avoid media appearances, facing tough questions from the press because of the coronavirus. It's very similar to dynamics of what's happening in the presidential race right now, where Joe Biden is conducting his campaign from his basement and it's working for him. You know, right now, this is a referendum on the president and the president's people. And Martha McSally has, over the last couple of years, squarely put herself in that camp. And the Democrats want to keep it that way. They think that's their best chance of winning, to just make it a referendum on the current leadership without having to really go before the lights and the cameras and explain their own vision.
Steve, why would Martha McSally challenge Mark Kelly to 7 debates?
Well, Lorraine, as someone who's had the honor of co-hosting debates with you in the past, I will say, because it's a heck of a lot of fun. But that being said, it's because when you're someone who's losing by as much as she's projected to be losing, and for an incumbent, even an appointed incumbent, to be down in every poll by at least 7 points, some as much as 12 points. The person who sees herself as behind usually wants more because this person hasn't been chipped away at enough and give me a chance to go at the challenger more. That's how I interpret it.
All right, quickly, the Arizona legislative races that we'll be seeing here in November could be interesting because it could flip control from the Republicans to the Democrats. Steve.
If I were to make a prediction, which you didn't ask for, I actually think the Democrats down 31-29 are going to take the House, but the Republicans will still control the Senate. Maybe they'll lose a seat, but they'll still have at least a 16-14 advantage when we're all done.
Yeah, I'll go with that one. I could see a scenario where we're surprised and the Democrats actually flip the Senate and maybe not the House or both of them, or end up with an even split in either the House or the Senate, which would be just wild. If you want a real bold prediction, 2 years from now in the 2022 election, we'll be with totally different districts, and those will be much more friendly to Republicans. I say Democrats win a majority in one of the chambers at least this year, and then lose the majority by 2022.
Baby steps, Hank. We got to get past November 1st. All right. My thanks to both of you.
Thanks, Lorraine.
Anytime.